right, welcome to Nested Loops. We're going to wrap up the best interfaces, no interface, last 3-4 chapters. So that's me, so I will share my screen. All right, how's that look? Acceptable? Okay, I got chapters 18 through 20. All right, so chapter 18 is titled Automatic Solutions Are Terrible. Look at Clippy. So, actually, I have a question. Clippy's old. Who actually remembers Clippy firsthand?
I do.
Okay, so I think most of us do. I wonder if our younger persons remember that, or you were maybe small enough you just thought it was cute.
And then Bonsai Buddy, the malicious version.
Yeah. All right. So, author mentions that automatic solutions sound great. The machines will do it on their own. They give us what we need, when we need it, how we need it. You know, the computer ultimately becomes a mind reader because it knows what we need to do. So, for example, things that exist: robot vacuums, autopilot, self-driving cars. He throws in the auto power laces from Back to the Future. Don't even need to tie your own shoes. Hasn't happened yet, but you know, the other things were pretty much sci-fi before and they're real now. The problem really is that automatic solutions, or partially automatic solutions, are hard to do right. There's a typo. Need lots of valid data, and you need confidence in the analysis of this data. If you have the wrong info or the lens on it, you can get a bad reading, and then when the software doesn't work, it's easy to be off the mark and alienate customers. So, look, I see a HyperAdapt link from Sam. Is that auto laces or something?
Yeah, Nike actually did that.
Oh, all right. So he makes a reference of Heron of Alexandria, who was born approximately 10 AD. He came up with this idea using steam engines for something that wasn't going to be made for a long time: automatic doors. About 2,000 years later, in 1960, two brothers, Lee Hewitt and D. Horton, came up with the actual design for automatic doors. Nowadays, for granted, we go to any grocery store and the doors automatically open for you, and point there is these seamless automatic solutions sometimes take decades or millennia to become reliable enough. And I don't think anyone here remembers a time where you had to open the grocery door by hand, which of course is really inconvenient if you have an armful of groceries. He makes a comment about how blasé this is. It's seamlessly integrated with our life, and it only took us 2,000 years. All right, so another example is airbags. First patent for this was filed in 1953. Several other guys did assorted things, and Mercedes-Benz started working on it in 1967. But it really wasn't until we tied these airbags to a crash sensing system that they became standardized equipment. It's successful now that it's federal law, in the States at least, that all cars must have these things. At the time of writing, saved more than 10,000 lives by automatically working in a millisecond of time. And then we remember his previous things about, well, God, I'm going to get a crash, pull my phone out. Oh, where's the app? Okay, activate airbag. Totally impossible and ridiculous. And he always likes to use the ridiculous examples to show you, hey, this is kind of dumb for the thing that we want. The example here is car detects a collision and deploys it in a tiny amount of time. Automatic transmission. Original ads describing the Hydromatic, 1940 Hydromatic, is there's 19 steps to get ready for a manual transmission to work, and the first automatic transmission here worked better. It was simplicity itself. Most revolutionary development in motor cars since the invention of the self-starter. Actually, I think I made lots of typos here, sorry, because I banged it out right before this one. I believe that was 2013, but less than 4% of all cars have manual transmissions. So about 54 years We did away with the default way to automatic. Who still drives a stick besides me?
I do.
Okay. By choice or by economical necessity?
By choice.
Hmm.
I do as well. Yeah, we both Alma and I have manual cars.
Okay. All right. It's now, automatic transmissions have become a seamless part of life. All right, so let's sample failure. So chapter 19, failure. What happens when it all falls apart? So this first part is him just kind of making fun of people being afraid of adopting new things. So the first one he says, oh, if you get a refrigerator, then you're going to start buying perishable items. And then what if your refrigerator breaks and you're going to have rotting food? And what will you do then with those rot food? They'll be terrible. Oh, don't learn to take a shower. You're going to get used to being clean, having running water. What's going to happen if the shower is broken? Can you use a tub still? Do you want to sit there with a fire hose over your head? Light bulbs. Oh no, you're going to be used to this federally powered electric grid. What are you going to do if the grid is gone? Use candles. Candles always work. It's like, what would you do if you didn't have these things? So, the comment is this. In the modern context, this is ridiculous, but you could imagine maybe 100 years ago, 150 years ago, it's like, oh my God, this thing. Why would you trust this shower thing? When all you got to do is, pour boiling water into a tub. So at the adoption time, probably crazy. So let's bring to some modern fears, like, recently, year 2000, when we switched 2 digits to 4 digits, there was a lot of people going, oh no, don't fly, don't drive, you never know what's going to happen to computers, they're all going to crash, blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, I blame COBOL. But no apocalypse happened. Online banking, oh no, my money's in cyberspace. Can I trust that one? But the bottom line is that leaping into the unknown is scary. But when you're trying to figure out solutions, fear of failure can be very limiting in the initial parts of figuring out solutions, but it is essential in the final stage because you have to handle failure. So let's look at some recent failures. Chernobyl had a meltdown, and this is, I guess, is pre-Fukushima, so that's our most recent nuclear failure. So a lot of people all get upset when large parts of their country become radioactive. Titanic crash, that's no good. Challenger exploded, so failure handling is important. Examples of some of the stuff he's shown: sliding doors have a push to open if it fails. For airbags, there are some things that have sensors that detect what weight you are, which seat it is, whether the seatbelt's on, to determine whether to put the airbag on. And this goes back to, airbag is fine for an adult but might crush an infant. Golden, of course, leans towards sensors and predictive sensors to automatically solve things in real time. And he quotes Marco Annunziata of GE, who describes in some TED Talks some kind of preventative maintenance for aircraft system where it checks all these things. It learns, self-learning, predicts things that humans will miss, and it communicates with the tower so that when the plane lands, the crew already knows what things to replace so they can get it fixed preemptively and in less time than ever. All right, so we can use UI as a backup, but as a secondary experience versus no UI, and it can act as sort of a training wheel for the no interface future. So examples here: Nest always had a GUI, but it tries to learn what you do, and when your preference changes, you just go up and change it on the GUI that was always there. Lockatron is an app that unlocks your deadbolt. It has a UI, and the example he pulled out is, let's say you have an Airbnb, you can give that guy like temporary permissions only for the duration he's staying there. Petzl was that automatic headlamp he described a few chapters back, where I'm reading my map or I'm looking down the caving tunnel and I need different things, and if you don't like the preferences, you can load up desktop software and change that. early sense was this healthcare sensor thing. It does stuff in real time, but sometimes you need to go and look for the spreadsheets of their like blood history to know what's going on. So that's a backup option. So the GUI is always here for these guys, but it's the follow-up to the main interface experience. TripIt. Supposed to automatically connects all your trips and your calendars, but sometimes that auto magic stuff goes wrong and you have the web UI to fix that. So as we can see, screens can be your backup. Failure can always happen. A good system needs to consider how to deal with it in the right way, and you can use predictive analysis sensors or GUIs to do that. So backup, but try to make screens as the backup. All right, so chapter 20, exceptions. Oh no, did I do that right? I think I did. Okay, absolutes hardly ever true. Okay. So the title of the book is The Best Interface is No Interface. But that doesn't mean the only interface is no interface. It just happens to be the best. But it's stupid to say it's the only viable solution. So one should strive towards this goal. Less isn't always more, but it's a good design philosophy. It is the path as a design philosophy to technologically elegant experiences. And I want to call out elegant. And again, I tend to think, as guys that do Ruby and Rails, elegance is always something in this community that has been something emphasized. Matt's trying to get the programming language that makes him happy and hopefully other programmers happy. Other guys have described sort of the Ruby design notion as being sort of this Japanese sort of approach. It's the same culture that came up with bonsai. This elegance sort of thing there, and then elegance is definitely something that was always on DHH's mind, causing Rails. So you want a UI that doesn't just suffice. You want it to be elegant. So these are principles that lead you to a quote-unquote wonderful experience. Keep people first. Aim higher than just tedious and inefficient. All right, there are exceptions to no interface. Computers are good at task-oriented things or heavy content, information-heavy content. So spreadsheets. There's a time for spreadsheets. Use those ones. He made this example. I can't watch a movie if I don't have a screen, so that's kind of silly. You should probably include an interface for major digital solutions. He says buying coffee, and probably don't need a GUI for that one. But mortgage, God, I have so many typos. I really apologize. I'm really a better speller than this. Mortgage, probably shouldn't automatically set you up for a payment. There, doing your taxes, you probably need to review things and double check things. So, for those who have seen Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove, in the end, we end up nuking the planet because there's this automated doomsday device that they couldn't
ruin it.
Oh, sorry, they brought it up. It's in the book. He ruined it first, but anyways, you don't want to automatically destroy the world without backup failure. So, some things you love.
You get to ride the missile.
Yes. All right, so there are things you love. We don't want to automate cooking, hiking, whatever. The purpose really is that we want more time to do these things. So we want to automate the rest of our life so we can do the stuff we want to do. And that's probably some other principle we should design GUIs for. All right, the conclusion. The future, wow, this is boring. So this is him saying, hey, I want this to be boring. I want this to be passé. No UI is the best UI. Oh, tell me when you have something else to do. When that is the case, it'll be a better time. The computers then will serve us. Technological systems will adapt to our needs. It may not happen this way. This is just one possible future. But that's the way he'd like to go. He wants to bring these ideas, forward. So as we hit the conclusion of the chapter, ultimately, I would say that the summary of this really is, I mean, his whole idea is to put a lot more thought into what the user experience is. What are you going to do? What's the easiest? What can you automate? Don't be stuck in the cookie cutter box. Oh, I have drop down, pop up, pull down, form, button, slider. You know, for some people, innovation is taking the slider everyone knows and making it a different kind of slider. It's like, okay, let's move away from these things and think about the scenario, you know, and then of course to do some of these things you need lots of data and predictive information, and that becomes its own kind of its own can of worms there. Now privacy or spying, though, you know, I think if we look right now, I think the most prevalent one that needs data and we have issues with privacy and spying is pretty much like the voice assistant, you know, Alexa, which when it works is pretty good. When it's mad, listens to me say lots of curse words to it. In fact, just yesterday I was yelling curse words at Alexa. That I hope I'm entertaining some worker at Amazon that's listening to this. You know, but needs data, and of course we've given up the fact that the NSA is now listening to us all the time via our Alexas. So, think first. All right, any other comments? I open it up to the peanut gallery.
I think you're absolutely right, or he's right with these big guys like Google, Amazon, just doing exactly what he's doing, having this no interface and getting all this data. Some of it cool, like Garmin, when they like give you watches and you can like run, and you can set things up and it'll just do it automatically. Also with Samsung, they have those cool things, tracking things. Like ideally, I would love to have a tracker that knows when I'm doing work, when I'm not doing work, why I'm not doing work, what kind of work am I doing when I'm doing work. That would be cool. I don't think we're there yet. I think that could be solved, but not yet.
Yeah. So some of that stuff, like when we were looking at time tracking software, there are some pretty intrusive Big Brother-like things that literally like watch your screen. And then you can, I think, like one of the options is you can say, look, these websites are work related and these are not.
Right.
But it pretty much spies on you, and I tended away from the Big Brother aspect of that. But if you could limit the spying to only I can see, that might be better. But it left me a little like creeped out. I go, oh, there are companies that the bosses are putting these and watching you down to the second, and in some cases it might be warranted, but in general.
What I would want is something like where I can implement it myself, like that it doesn't talk to anything and it's just running on my computer, or maybe talking to a server that I own, and then have a report at the end of the week or something.
There's a software already does that without connecting to internet. There's one software that the basic one, like actually tracks like what application you have open and what you're interacting with, right? If you get something open, like for 2 minutes and like there's no mouse moving or whatever, it's like maybe you won't know what. Right? So it kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it tells you how much of your time was spent on every application.
Right.
And you can look down on to files or websites.
That's good.
Do a little bit of real time.
Yeah.
I don't know if they implemented this, was the same company or a different one. There was one that actually used your camera to track like your facial recognition, to track your eyes. So if you're like looking away or whatever, it would like kind of point.
Yeah, that's not what I want. I want option number one.
Yeah, the second one felt like a little bit.
Yeah, I mean
But again, it doesn't only.
But it's not that necessary for me, like to like, am I looking at the screen? I'd rather have something that's like, oh, no activity, or like, oh, he's on these websites, or like if I go through my list of like interactions and I can tag them, and then it's just like, oh, okay, it already knows that tag, or it'll give me a list of tags. Be like, oh, what's an appropriate tag for
There
this?
was some like AI, I will be okay with the look in your eyes. Yeah, you look tired. Take a break.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. But no break, only work.
Your eyes are really good.
That's right. I've been eating donuts. No, I haven't been eating donuts. I wish I was eating donuts.
Something that I wanted to mention that I thought when you say like a change always comes with risk or some kind of friction. I was reading this book and it talked about different changes, like Chris talking about. Oh, right now everybody, the iPhone will run your brain, right? Kids and their iPhones, blah blah blah. And it takes a completely different approach to that. It's like the issue is not with the device, is with people, right? We can minimize whatever new device is available. And so, as an example, because before that, it was the TV, right? Before that, it was the radio, right?
Before that, the newspapers. Before that, the book, the published novel.
The town square.
One of the things people say like, oh, this is horrible, is educating children.
Oh, yes.
Before that,
What was
the
your
printing press.
The printing press, there you go.
The printing press.
Before that was learning, like reading the Bible.
I think before that was educating children. So it was printing press and so
coming from a Catholic background, I heard that like it was against their like beliefs to have people read the Bible. They were only supposed to like listen to it through the mass.
Right.
It's just
because like it's too complex for the common man to understand.
Only
So you need a priest to
elites.
Priest avoid.
That's right.
Indeed.
That's a whole
Tangent.
What's the name? Not Calvinism.
Oh, the 95 Thesis guy.
The guy that
Lutherans.
yeah. I think
Martin
so.
Luther, King Jr.
No.
Not that one.
The guy that copied the Bible and made that available to everybody. Reprinted it.
Maybe it's Calvinism. I don't know.
It's like in Europe.
Yes, most of everything was done in Europe.
All right.
We should get a psychology book next time.
That's right.
Psychology. All right. So if we're done with this one, so I did suggest, if you recall, I suggested that one Kathy Sierra book. Which one was it? Kathy Sierra. There you go.
Have you asked for that one?
Were you guys readers of her blog? Like, you guys have read her stuff?
Who's Kathy Sierra?
Her blog is great. You can still find it. It's still legit. I should go to that one actually. Creating passionate users. Typepad. Now it hasn't been done in age. Long story short, she's probably one of the earlier victims from psychopathic misogynist trolls. She was very popular, doing lots of conference presentations, and then she was stalked. And what's the thing where they put your public info on the internet so that
Right.
stalkers? There's a name for that kind of. But if you see this and you've seen any of the Head First books, you'll recognize these little images that she puts on. She's big into. She pretty much invented the Head First thing, which tries to do multi-learning things. So when you get her book, one, it's entertaining. She has pictures. She has exercises. She crack out, go into Barnes and Noble and crack open. Actually, we got Safari. Take a look at some Head First. She tries to make learning something more interesting than here's a bunch of facts, like how do we attach some visuals, some this, that. But her big deal, creating passionate users here, really was how do you make products. It's UX. How do you make your users feel awesome? And if they feel awesome, they'll love your product, right? And then a lot of this, of course, fits in well with, startups who are trying to, make a viral product? Well, part of it is, related. It's not only is once you've created the passion users, those are the ones you talk to, those are the ones you listen to, those are the ones you get to evangelize. So it goes beyond just the UX part, but the whole company making. So she was very popular back in the heyday of Rails, where everyone and their brother was throwing up a Rails site to do some cool idea. And I felt it was a very empowering time where, hey, you can, with Rails, you can make software that used to cost tens of thousands of dollars for dirt. But with Kathy Sierra, you can actually come up with something that people actually want to use, and better than that, they'll tell their friends to use their software because they feel so awesome when they're doing it. So Kathy Sierra is that person. I did try to reach out to her like I do to every author. And she's basically, since being targeted largely off the internet, she still does stuff with horses. So I went to her horse website and reached out, but got no answer. So, and I don't blame her. She's probably quite wary about internet stuff, but I thought I would give her the hat tip. So we're going to study your book, and if you'd love to say anything, you would. But it's this one, and if we're good, we can start this in 2 weeks. Let's see if we got the table of contents.
I don't know what's the normal process of choosing a book. Do people make suggestions or?
Yes, people make suggestions, and then
people say, yeah, I like that.
It's all like momentum driven.
I'm kind of looking at the pages here. This looks very much like her head first stuff. So you can see she makes big use of pictures. She's got like very colloquial amount of crap will reinterpret as not crap, desirability. So she tries to really speak to you. Actually, I just watched T2 with the kids last night because I'm trying to
pump up for Dark Fate. Exactly.
And at one point, John Connor is talking to Arnold, telling him, stop being so square. You got to learn. When a guy says this, you say, chill out. When a guy says this, stop being so square. Hasta la vista, baby, all that stuff. And I see this is the same kind of thing. Amount of crap won't reinterpret. So she's trying to make our otherwise boring UX charts hip in the way that John Connor was trying to make the Terminator hip. So I'm looking for a table of contents to get a figure of how big these is. I think it seems reasonable. I'll tackle whatever first chapters there are to get a gauge of how many chapters we'll do. So yeah, I don't know how many chapters that will be. I'll have to get it and look through. But looking at these pages, looks like a lot of pages. A lot of pages could be covered. Though actually, I guess it's going to have a lot of screen dumps with a lot of pictures. All right, this may be challenging, but I think it'll be fun, or at least thought-provoking. And I'm hoping that we'll have more concrete, actionable stuff than we did this last book, which is
it was very it was good. It explained the principles. It was very example heavy. So I think it's one of those books that from there take it on your own kind of thing. Come up with your own solutions afterwards.
Right. So this page here, I'm showing you a thought experience, search and replace. Imagine you're in a meeting. When you think of this, change this to this. So she loves exercises. So that might be a big part is when we have this exercise, we'll do the exercise.
Ooh. Set up.
Yeah, right.
So she's that's how they head first. Yeah, definitely worth look. We want this, not this. You can see there's not a lot of. I think that's a subconscious I'm awesome. My God, I went through 67 pages. You are awesome, but there's only 3 paragraphs a page. So, but still, you feel awesome because you go, I covered 67 pages today, dude. Yes, list the ways your users get stuck at both your tool, if relevant, and the compelling context. See, these exercises, and she leaves room in the book for you to go and write in the book. So for those of you who still have paper. And okay, looks like this might be exercise heavy. So I'll have to get a feel of how many chapters will be covered, and probably chapter by chapter. We'll have to probably look forward to figure out how much we can cover. So I will
It's like
Yeah. This book probably sucks on Audible.
They should have it where he's like describing the breath. Just
we're
like
describing the images. Like, oh,
There's
where's the
two
guy
people.
wearing it?
Hey, orange.
Drawing of a chimney.
Orange square with a toaster. Green box with bowling pins. Yellow box with the bunny caught in a floppy drive. Oh, that doesn't sound right at all. Okay, so that'll be it. I'll pick up in 2 weeks. Thank you. Any other parting comments?
You're gonna do the first chapters.
Yeah, I'll do the first. I'll figure out how much it should be, or I don't know how many I'll do. When I page through it, I'll try to get a feel of how many it is. All right, well, there you go. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We have a new book. I'm gonna go change the meetup link. Say that. And actually, I'm gonna join some UX groups on Meetup and see if any of those guys want to join us.
Awesome.
Because the more, the merrier. And Sam shouldn't be the only friend here. If you guys have some friends that want to do this one, and they can spread the time. Oh, Tanya's calling me. I'm gonna get that.